Behind home plate, we bringing it to them all day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Hey guys, welcome to Section 336. It's me, Josh. Matt is away, but I felt like it's been almost a month since we've talked to Orioles, and the Orioles have put on a great stretch. Having one of the best records in baseball for June, I had to get on here and talk about it. So that's what we're going to do. Plan originally was, hey, I can talk for 30 minutes about the Orioles by myself, but then I decided that probably isn't the most entertaining thing. So I reached out to a friend, reached out to Zach over at PigTown Sports. You guys should be following him on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff, because he's much better with stats where I tend to lean into the emotions of an Orioles fan. So last night, while the Orioles were, unbeknownst to us, falling apart and losing the game, thank you, Brian Baker. But I sat down with Zach, and we talked about this Orioles season. Are we buyers, sellers? Can we be both? And what it all looks like. So here is my conversation with Zach.
For fans, by fans. Section 336, the next generation of Baltimore sports talk.
All right, so with Matt's been away for 3 weeks. So I got dragged Zach in from PigTown Sports. I'm sure you guys are following him over on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter. If not, Zach, everything is PigTown Sports on all the social medias, right?
Yes.
All right. And how often are you putting out content right now?
On Twitter, I'd probably put out maybe, let's say, between 10 to 20 tweets a day.
Yes. Yeah.
Lots of stats.
Yeah. Yes. Where my
TikTok,
Twitter is more
once a day.
emotional during the game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
TikTok I try to do once a day. Those usually kind of turn into YouTube shorts, and then I do one live stream on Sunday nights usually with Paul Valley on the Press Box Sports Show.
For the bat around?
And then when I have time, I try to get my own stuff out, but with 3 kids, that's not always possible.
I know exactly how that goes. And Matt and I had a great stretch of not taking weeks off. And then we decided, well, what's the point? Like, we're killing ourselves. And it was great. It helped us establish Section 336. And I'd love to get back into that pace. But life happens. Everyone has kids. And Matt is now in Tanzania, I believe, for 3 weeks.
Nice.
He comes back this weekend. So I'm sure we'll have another 336 next week with his opinion. But I thought he left at a horrible time, because he left when the last conversation I had with him was, hey, the Orioles are going into this stretch, end of June, mid-June, where it's kind of make it or break it. We got to either turn this ship around or sell off all the pieces.
Yeah.
And, Zach, I was looking. I know we will watch the games, and we just feel, hey, this team's a lot better. This team's playing really well. Did you know that since June 1st, the Orioles are 19-13, and for the month of June alone, so if you take out the sweep in Atlanta, which was fun, just for the month of June, the Orioles had a .593 winning percentage, which was 4th best in baseball.
Mm-hmm. And lost ground in the wild card.
No, I think they gained half a game.
Half game.
Didn't they
right,
go?
Yeah.
They went from 7.5 to 7.
6.5. Yeah.
That's the part that's frustrating, but that's the part that I feel like once you hit July, August, and teams figure out who they are.
Yep.
It fluctuates a lot more. Because, you look at that and you say, well, they didn't gain any ground, and that's because the Astros continue to play well. The Rays continue to play well.
The Blue Jays out of nowhere.
The Blue Jays. The only team that really fell apart is the Yankees.
Yeah.
And went on a bad stretch. But it's also the type of thing where you talk about baseball and the longevity of the season, and it's very, very rare to see a team like the Orioles where they are going upwards instead of downwards at this time of year. And you would hope that means good things for the rest of July and August as this team hopefully continues to go up as they get healthier. How are you feeling about the Orioles right now at the fact that they're still 7 games back, even after all this?
I mean, they're just playing good ball at this point. I mean, they've had injury after injury after injury. I mean, how many pitchers have gone down? Like Eflin, Povich, Aiken, you name it. Every other day there's a different guy getting hurt, and they're still finding a way to win.
And catchers. We go through catchers like trash.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But, like, the fact that they keep finding a way to win is kind of good for me because, now you're kind of going through it. And then when all of a sudden you start maybe getting Grayson back and maybe getting Bradish back, and all of a sudden you get Suarez back, and maybe you acquire one guy at the deadline. And now all of a sudden, like, you've had a lineup that's kind of fought the entire year and found a way through it. And then you start putting the pieces together, like, crazier things have happened in baseball.
Right. The stat I always point to is this is the path the Nationals took to win the World Series. Mm-hmm. And it was ugly, but they got there. And I think as Oriole fans, we have been through the opposite so many times where we are hot until the All-Star break.
Yep.
And then we make excuses for 4 weeks about why the team is struggling after the All-Star break. And we say that things will get better come September, come the playoffs, and we just get disappointed. I see that. I see a nice blur in the background, and I see someone wearing the Pirates of the Caribbean hat, so I knew something was going on. And you know what? Holiday and Westberg, you want to have fun? Look up Westberg, the Orioles stats when Westberg is in the lineup versus when he's out. These injuries have made a huge impact on this season.
I talked about it earlier in the year how Westberg could be the team MVP at the end of this year. And then he went down, and then he went down again, and it was like, and like you just said, when he's in the lineup, all of a sudden everything just kind of fixes itself. Mansolino's even pointed to it. He's the guy that everybody kind of looks to.
Yeah, I think Tony said that whether he's in the lineup or not, in the clubhouse, he's the linchpin.
Yeah.
So, I
kind of joked about it earlier in this year, and I'm like, what if Cowser was like that guy that kind of like kept everything loose for guys? I mean, he's a fun dude. Like, he just enjoys. Right. He's like Ben McDonald, just loves baseball. He just, everything he does, he's out there smiling, having a good time. Him and Westberg are best friends. Like, not having those two guys, like that was a killer. And
that's all off season. That's what we talk to as a huge plus of this isn't just a team. This is a team of friends. These are boys that grew up together. That Westberg, Cowser, Adley, Gunnar, they're all close friends. They had Eflin in the house with them, all these young guys in Eflin for spring training. You got Holiday, who's way more mature than he should be for his age, out there having fun. Like, all this stuff blends. And you saw this team for months deal with injuries, and they weren't having fun anymore.
Yeah.
And this whole team is built around having fun, being young, playing baseball, and they weren't able to do that anymore. Everyone was pressing or hurt. And I think that's a major thing you can see now. And I don't know. I've hated on Brandon Hyde for years.
Yeah.
But it's hard to not look at this team and say that something changed when Brandon Hyde left. When you see small ball happening, when you see pitchers' leashes being longer and trusted, it's almost like you're playing baseball again, and you're not pressing, and you're having fun.
Well, you don't have to worry about, even in the box, like, you don't have to worry about going up there and just like, oh man, like, I struck out today 2 or 3 times. Like, am I going to play tomorrow? Like, oh man, we're playing against a lefty, and like, am I not going to play tomorrow? Like, you start thinking about this stuff in advance, and now they just get to go out and just play baseball, like you said, and it's a lot easier.
As simple as Tony going to Holiday and saying, hey, you're going to play against lefties and righties. It's like,
right.
Of course
and you're not coming out of
the
leadoff
number one
spot.
draft pick.
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, just against lefties since Hyde was fired, they're, as a team, let me see as a team what they're hitting. I just had it and I moved it. As a team, they're hitting 244. Not great, but better. But what I like to see is 145 RBIs. Like, they're finally putting good at-bats against lefties together.
Right.
And, even when you look at certain players, I mean, Adley started hitting the ball before he got hurt. He was hitting 309 since Brandon Hyde was let go. Gunner's hitting 302 since he was let go.
Yeah.
Westberg 288, Lariano 281, Holiday 246, but he's 21 years old.
Right. I'm telling you,
I don't really care about that yet.
Right. No, there's an attitude change. There's a shift change. You saw it in Atlanta this weekend when how many times did we have to come back in that second game where it was just we fell behind, then we homered our way back. And it was this like, do not give up. We're here to fight. We're here to play. Let's just stay loose. And the team's finally doing that.
Tonight,
and,
perfect example.
Oh, yeah, coming out that sweep of Atlanta, and everyone says, oh, well, no, now you got to face a tough Mets team. And you look, and it's like, oh, Brendan Young's on the hill.
Yeah.
And he goes out and throws the first immaculate inning in, 7 years since Kevin Gausman did it?
Yeah, and then they go down, right? They could have hung their head there.
They go down, come back immediately. The team has a fight. The team, again, it's fun baseball. And it makes me jealous to not be in Baltimore right now. I did get to go to a game last weekend, but this is the way the team is playing now is when you want to go every night because it's fun. Anything could happen.
Exactly.
And
I listen to a lot of your shows, and I know Matt would pick on you for your hate with Hyde, but I mean, when you look at how the team has responded since, like, you could defend Hyde all you want, but I mean, the play on the field kind of speaks for itself.
And you're not going to catch me defending Tony because I still think he's an imbecile.
You know what?
He is.
I don't think he was media trained. I think he's a very smart baseball mind, but God, he just keep the microphone away from him.
And I don't even think he's getting better.
Yeah, I don't think he cares.
And he's like the right-handed batter. I don't need to know his name.
Yeah.
It's like, what? No. So I don't care. The team's having fun. The team's playing well. What that means for the future of Tony, I don't know. I doubt it's in Baltimore, but
I think he wants to go back to third base.
I think
he likes it here, though.
I think that could be the case. Or move to bench coach and not be the face that has to deal with the media. I could see something like that. But I could also see a Brandon Hyde situation where there's no way Brandon Hyde was supposed to still be the manager of this team. But when you win, you secure that spot. So
what do you think? I mean, if they come back, what did they want at one point? 16 games under? And if they make the playoffs,
and make the playoffs, you have to offer it to them.
You have to.
You have no choice. You have to. Now, if he's smart, he'll turn it down and just say, "I'll just be the bench coach."
But at that point, you know what? You could say that, hey, we offered it, but then you'd be like, hey, Tony, like, you're going to be the highest paid bench coach in the league.
Exactly.
Like, let us hire somebody that we want, kind of thing.
Well, the problem is, I want Buck, who's right there. I don't want to bring in an outsider. I like the way the organization is.
I think they're going to go outside. I don't know why. I have a feeling they will.
I think they will, unless this team makes it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then it's hey, we can't mess with things.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I would go with. Especially, so playoffs, let's not get there yet. Let's talk about Mike Elias right now. Because Mike Elias is in a tough situation about you have to decide now, basically in the next week, to buy or sell.
Yeah.
And I can understand every single argument that he puts out there. I can agree with. There's no need to go buy because we have arms coming in. We got depth in Norfolk. We got Basallo to come up and play some first base probably in September. Ketchen, if you really need him to. But I think they're going to bring him up and try to put him at first base because we're a little crowded in the catching position. Yeah. And you want that bat every night. So you've got a little bit of depth. I can understand not wanting to buy. But are you at the point where could you see this team buying? Could you see this team selling? Can you sell and still be making a run for the playoffs?
Detroit did. Why not?
Yeah, well, I think you can because you've got depth. I think we've seen through injury.
You have, like you just, you talked about the depth at first base. If you have to sell O'Hearn, Ryan Mountcastle took BP on the field today. He's not too far away. I know the power's not there. I'll be dead honest with you. The power's not there with Ryan O'Hearn either. He's hitting before tonight, he was hitting 205 in his last 20-some games.
Yeah.
Like he's been struggling. You're going to get better production out of Ryan Mountcastle. He's got, he hits the ball the other way. He hits the ball of runners in scoring position. Yes, he strikes out. Most first basemen do. But but he's got a high average with runners in scoring position. That's all I care about. It's just like O'Hearn. So O'Hearn's a guy you can move. If you happen to move Mullins, I'm pretty sure Cowser can play center field adequately for the next 300 games if you need him to.
And Laureano has been a huge surprise. I've expected nothing out of him this season. He's been great.
Yeah, and Carlson played good when he was up. And then I personally would not put Tyler O'Neill in the outfield, but maybe twice a week. Keep him as healthy as you can. Let him DH. When he's healthy, he hits, and he's always been that way. When you keep him healthy, he hits, just like Gary was. And keep Tyler healthy. You got a fourth, fifth outfielder if you need it, but you have expendable players with Mullins and O'Hearn, and you can get decent bullpen arms back for that. And our bullpen's good. Don't get me wrong, but you always can upgrade your bullpen somehow.
You can, yes, and part of the arms coming back, I think, will do some of that.
Yeah,
but I think you see these stories where I believe it's Houston who really wants Cedric Mullins. And if I was Mike Elias, I'd say, hey, yeah, we're not classified as sellers, but we'll listen. I'll listen for Cedric Mullins. I'll listen for Ryan O'Hearn because we're still going to fight. We're still going to make the push. But those guys aren't the heart of my team.
Right.
Those guys are guys who are going to get me through this season. Yep.
If you had an intention of re-signing them, I think it would have been done by now.
Yeah.
God dang, Lindor.
Yeah. You also have Adley Rutschman was taking dry swings today or yesterday. So there's a little bit of progress there. I think he's still a few weeks out. And then we had Mateo was moved to the 60-day DL. So he's way out as far as other options for depth.
Yeah, the way that Basayo and Beavers are both swinging the bat, could they come up here and struggle? 1,000%. It's just what our prospects do. But if you can find a way to let them struggle like you did last year with Holiday and still win ball games, and then all of a sudden at that 100, maybe 125 at bats, they start figuring it out, and then you start getting a little bit more production, a little bit more speed, a little bit better defense, sometimes that's worth it. And you've got plenty of guys that can fill the void. Let's be honest with ourselves. If Dylan Beavers came up right now and he struggled, right, and he was hitting 190 for 80 at bats.
Right. Like a Kobe Mayo.
Mullins is hitting what right now? 210?
Yeah, it's not a huge downgrade.
Right. It's not, he's hitting 212. So you go through 80 at bats of Beaver struggling, but then all of a sudden he starts hitting the ball in the gap, hitting the ball over the fence, and then he finishes the year at 220, more RBIs and whatnot. Sure, you'll lose a little bit of stolen bases and maybe a little bit of center field, but in the long term, if you don't make the playoffs this year, now Dylan Beavers is really ready to roll next year. Yeah, they've got a lot of options. We didn't even talk about Kobe Mayo. That's another guy.
Another guy.
Bats.
And another guy who would get more playing time if Ryan O'Hearn was traded.
Yeah.
And that's where you're seeing – that's where we saw Kirstead struggle a lot because he wasn't getting playing time. And I think you see that with Mayo too. It's hard to get comfortable in major leagues. They say the biggest jump is AAA to the majors. Mm-hmm. And then when you can't get there, Pete Alonso just tied up the game as we're recording. You can't get there if you're on the bench all the time. You can't get those regular at bats. You can't get those lineups. I believe that is 2 in this inning. Yeah, so he will be pulled now in the top of the 8th as we're doing this. Felt a whole lot better when we started talking, and it was 5-2.
Yeah,
or 6-2, I guess it was. But again, this team doesn't give up. So if we can get out of this inning, I have no doubts in this team. This team going into extras, I will trust them all the time.
Yeah, they've been playing better offensively. The first half of the year, the offense stunk.
It did. But again, no consistency, everyone pressing, constant injuries. I was talking to someone today, and I mentioned how injuries is a problem, and it was, maybe they need to examine their strength and conditioning, people. And I'm like, that's not a bad argument until I started thinking about the injuries. Colton Cowser went out because he dove into first base. They got nothing to do with that. Westberg's latest injury was sliding into second. They got nothing to do with that. Nothing they could do to prepare with that. Some of this is just bad luck with this team.
Yeah. Tyler
Where-
O'Neill, when he flipped over, throwing a ball to the plate, hurt his neck. Like,
Right, exactly. You
That's not their
can't-
fault.
It's not their fault. Now, some of the pitchers, maybe, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
When I
causes
look at
these
that,
things.
I've questioned it myself a couple times, and I look at the lower back injuries and the lower leg injuries, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, are we lifting too heavy? Are we doing deadlifts? Or
yeah.
are they doing those too heavy? Like, how is Mateo tearing his hamstring in a rehab game where he probably shouldn't be running that hard? Like, what was he doing prior? Like, that's the stuff I question. What is Cade Povich doing where he hurts his hip?
Like now, Sanchez right knee sprain, Trump lower back tightness, Rutschman lower oblique strain. Those are all ones where you're like
Eflin too, lower back.
Yeah,
and
well,
lat.
Well, I guess I was just going through catchers.
Yeah.
Hanley concussion, but that was maybe a poor throw. Drew him into the bad
Do we
line.
really think that concussion was that bad? Like, what's the deal with that?
It was a 7-day concussion protocol, so I don't know. They're always just safe.
Right, but aren't we
They're
on like day
safer.
14?
Yeah, we probably are. I don't know. Think about though, like was it Kerstead or no
Yeah.
Mountcastle who had issues last year. Kerstead got a concussion with being hit by a pitch. I don't think you can predict these brain activity ones. But then, let's see. We got Bradish, Tommy John. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Wells, UCL repair. He'll be back soon, we hope. Suarez, right shoulder inflammation. Rodriguez. No one talks about Rodriguez anymore. To be hurt and then hurt immediately again this season. Cody Pody, right shoulder inflammation. Eflin's lower back. Povich, left hip inflammation. Aiken, left shoulder inflammation. Mateo, left hamstring strain. Ryan Mountcastle, right hamstring strain. There's got to be some better strength and conditioning we can do to stop strains and all this simple stuff. And I don't know. I have not. We're in this world where we focus overly on the Orioles, so I haven't compared how's the other teams doing with injuries. But
The Dodgers
it seems
are
like a
getting
lot.
demolished, but it's all pitching. They always every year that they have pitching issues.
Yeah. And I also think part of it is baseball adjusting to younger players, analytics, whatever the new gimmick is for putting on extra weight, the protein, all this.
Yeah.
Baseball is trying to get to this next post-steroid era, even though steroids ended a while ago, of now like taking it to the next level with these young kids who have been paying attention to their weight, their fitness, their muscle mass since they were children, and now adapted into pro ball with analytics and everything that's saying, no, move your arm this way, where the computer says to do that, but maybe it's not what's best for your body. And I think there's a little adjustment there.
Fully agree with that. Analytics are good for certain things, and
right.
I don't know if pitching's one of them or not.
I don't that's
know.
the thing. The computer will tell you how to throw the ball harder.
Yeah.
But does it take into account wear on your shoulder blade?
Right.
Or lats? I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think baseball's learning and adjusting.
Hopefully.
So, all right. So, where do you see these Orioles going? You see June continuing into a hot July? I mean, it's hard not to say it does because we've already swept the Braves.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just got to just stack it together. And, I mean, I wouldn't worry about anybody else in front of you because it literally doesn't matter because you're playing them for the rest of the year.
Right.
You got to play everybody ahead of you. So you just take care of one game at a time, continually keep going 4-2 every 2 series, and just don't even look at the standings and just keep playing ball. Get healthy, stay healthy. That's the hardest part. And just keep grinding it out. I mean, we haven't even seen Gunnar Henderson hit his power streak yet. Could he hit it in the second half? Maybe right. Those 4 days off lets his chest or whatever he had going on like really finally heal a little bit. You know, maybe we see, Cowser kind of a couple extra days and that thumb gets just a little bit better, starts to hit a little bit better. I mean, same with O'Hearn, maybe a couple of days off he doesn't get any days off, but
right.
Maybe he resets himself.
Yeah, but then you got even Westberg, who's back, but he says his hand's not 100%. Yeah. So giving him some extra time, that's all good. Are you planning playoffs?
I've been saying it all year. This is a playoff team. And it's whether they want to make it or not. The talent is there. I don't care if they were 16 games under at one point. People have always said, "Oh, no team in baseball has ever done it." Well, I'm sorry, no team in baseball has ever had the talent that the Orioles have currently.
But they have. The Washington Nationals did it. Everyone says no team's ever done this. You want to have fun? Look at the Nationals stats month by month versus the year they won the World Series. It lines up almost exactly with the Orioles' first half of the season.
Yeah, just got to get in.
You just got to do it and play the way they're playing the last month. So I'm right there with you. I think this team can still sneak into the wild card. Our division's so tough that you can't fall this far back and win the division. So I don't see that coming. But who cares? Get into the dance and actually win some games. And
I think Boston's going to fall apart. They've had so much drama this year. I don't think they can keep it together.
We've seen weakness with the Yankees. Toronto got hot. I don't know if that's going to stay.
I feel like Toronto gets hot every couple of years, and then they just like falter in September. And that's all they do.
The Rays got hot in June, but then July, the Rays are going to get killed in July. They have like one home series in July.
Yeah,
because it's too hot to play outside in Tampa. So baseball did them a favor and scheduled them on the road, but that's going to wear. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, even then, if they have a bunch of home games in August, that's even worse.
Right.
For everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But, anything can happen. I mean, Houston, you know going into this season, Houston's going to make the run. They do it every single year. Yep. You can never count them out. The Angels, cool. You know, they're not
but again,
keeping this up.
Get in the playoffs, you just got to win the series.
Right. Texas, we've seen Texas. They're okay. They're okay. Kansas City, they don't have any offense at all. The Twins, they're never scaring anybody. Cleveland can't score at all. I mean, so you basically just have to – I mean, obviously these teams are in front of you, but coming down to the end of it, you just got to jump Boston or Tampa.
Mm-hmm. I think the Orioles are going to be surprising people. You and I watch it every day, so we've seen the team turn around. A lot of people still look and see the Orioles at the bottom of the standings, don't know how June went, and they're going to come out of All-Star break hot and surprise some people, I think.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you find a way to rip off a couple here real quick, like all of a sudden you're sitting at the break. Let's say we go 4-2 again, right? What, 42-51 or 44-51?
Yeah.
People are still not going to pay attention to you. Like they're not looking at the standings like we are. They're like, oh, okay, Baltimore's down there. But I mean, at 44, you're probably gonna hop Cleveland. If you win tonight, you're gonna hop Cleveland tonight.
No, you're gonna start moving up. No one's gonna pay attention. The key with the Orioles is the Orioles in June, they always struggled with game 2. They'd win game 1, win game 3, struggle game 2, which meant that you could never get a rhythm going where they're like, oh, look, this team's hot. This team's won 4 in a row, 6 in a row, 7 in a row. They're going to do that very soon.
Yep.
I think we're at 4 in a row right now. So they're going to do that.
Get the pitching kind of back under control a little bit. It's been a little dicey.
And that's where I'm excited for Wells and Bradish.
Yeah, I forgot about Wells.
That's what I'm saying. We've got depth. Yeah. If they come back and can pitch the way they did before they got hurt, it's going to be a really exciting second half. All right, Zach, I will close it there. I told you 30 minutes. That's what we're about up with. I want everyone to make sure you're following PigTown Sports and Pressbox over on all that Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. I know you do the YouTube Shorts, Facebook, all that. And thanks for coming on. Thanks for filling in for Matt this week.
Definitely. It's always enjoyable.
From behind home plate, your Orioles talk. Section 336, the next generation of Baltimore sports talk.
Thank you once again. Check out PigTown Sports. I think we said it a few times there, but definitely it's one of my favorite TikToks. He comes with stats. He comes with video breakdowns. It's worth giving him a follow. Now, next week, I believe Matt will be back. I believe he returns to the country on Saturday. He and I are going to be in the Outer Banks together next week, so I see no reason why we will not be giving you a mid-season report by the two of us next week. Hopefully on time. Monday, Tuesday, look for a new episode of Section 336. Thanks for sticking with us. I know we were always known as the podcast that never took weeks off, and now we're taking weeks off. It comes with life. And thanks for continuing to follow us, support us, Make sure you're following us everywhere at Section 336, Section 336 Show, and at Josh Roca. And I'll see you next week.